In a small Philippine village, a family is getting ready to move to a new piece of land. They aren't hiring a moving truck, and they aren't carrying boxes down a driveway. Instead, their neighbors start arriving early in the morning, dozens of them. They aren't there to help pack. They're there to carry the entire house. The family's home is a bahay kubo, a small stilt house built from bamboo and woven palm leaves. Light enough, it turns out, for a determined group of neighbors to lift clean off the ground. Long bamboo poles are threaded underneath the house, crossing beneath its floor. Then, on a shouted signal, 15, 20, sometimes 30 people lift together. The whole house rises into the air, roof and walls and floor, all in one piece. And the group begins walking, carrying an entire home down the road on their shoulders. This is Bayanihan, and it might be the most literal expression of community on Earth. To understand why an entire village would show up to carry a house, start with one word. Bayanihan comes from the word bayan, meaning town, nation, or simply community. Bayanihan itself translates roughly to being a bayan, or acting as one community. It isn't really the name of the house carrying. It's the name of the spirit behind it.
The house is just the most dramatic example of a much wider way of living.
In Bayanihan, no one carries a heavy load completely alone if neighbors can help it. Big or small, difficult tasks are treated as shared, communal responsibilities. And crucially, nobody expects to be paid for showing up and lending a hand.
The understanding is simple. Today it's your roof. Tomorrow it might be mine.
Moving a house this way takes real coordination, not just raw muscle. Everyone has to lift, walk, and set the house down in careful unison. One person out of step could tip the whole structure, so timing really matters. It's less like manual labor and more like a strange, slow, communal dance. And once the house safely reaches its new spot, the hard work becomes a party. The family that just moved serves food to everyone who helped carry their home. What began as heavy lifting ends in laughter, shared plates, and full stomachs. Nobody leaves that day having lost anything. Everybody leaves having gained something. To understand why this tradition took root, you have to look at the house itself. The bahay kubo was never built to be permanent or immovable. Bamboo and nipa palm leaves are light, flexible, and easy to take apart and rebuild. Unlike a brick or concrete home, this house was practically designed to be carried. Families in this region always understood something modern housing often forgets.
Sometimes land floods. Sometimes circumstances change, and a family simply needs to move.
A house that can travel with you is a genuinely different way of thinking about home. But a house, even a light one, is still far too heavy for one family to lift alone.
So the practice of collective lifting became a practical communal solution.
Historians trace Bayanihan's roots even further back into older systems of shared labor. Older Filipino traditions included gantihan and turnuhan, both meaning roughly taking turns. In these systems, families rotated, helping each other with harvests, building, and heavy work. If you helped your neighbor plant this season, they helped you plant the next. Reciprocity wasn't treated as a favor. It was treated as how a community simply functioned. Over time, this rotating system of mutual aid folded itself into the Bayanihan tradition. The house carrying became the tradition's most vivid, most photographed expression. But it was always really a symbol for something far broader than moving furniture. It said, some things are too heavy for one family to carry by itself. And it said, a community's strength lies in what it can lift together. This wasn't treated as charity, given from someone strong to someone weak. It was treated as ordinary neighborliness, expected from absolutely everyone equally. Rich or poor, everyone was expected to show up when a neighbor's roof needed lifting. Modern housing changed things. Concrete and steel don't lift the way bamboo does. Literal house carrying became rare, though it still happens in a few rural areas today. But the spirit behind it never actually needed a house to survive. The Philippines is hit by roughly 20 typhoons a year, among the most of any country. After a storm passes, Bayanihan shows up again, just without the bamboo poles. Neighbors clear fallen trees together, share tools, and rebuild each other's roofs. Nobody waits around for outside help to arrive before the real work begins. During the coronavirus pandemic, an entirely new version of Bayanihan appeared overnight. In Quezon City, one resident set up a small wooden cart on a sidewalk. On it, a simple, handwritten instruction: give what you can, take what you need. No one guarded it. No one asked questions. People simply added food, and others took it. Within weeks, that single cart had inspired thousands of similar community pantries nationwide. It was Bayanihan, translated instantly into a language a global crisis could understand. Even outside the Philippines, the tradition travels with the people who carry it. Millions of Filipinos work abroad, and they send billions of dollars home every year. Far from home, they still organize into tight communities, ready to help each other settle in. Today, one city keeps the literal tradition alive in the most joyful way possible. Every November, Pasig City holds a festival built entirely around Bayanihan. Local districts, called barangays, each enter a team carrying a full-sized nipa hut. Teams race through the streets, hut hoisted on their shoulders, completing playful challenges along the way. What was once a practical necessity has become a beloved, competitive celebration. The house is lighter now, mostly ceremonial, but the coordination required is exactly the same. Step out of sync, and the whole team feels it instantly. So step back and consider what this tradition is really asking of a community. It asks people to notice a neighbor's heavy load before being asked to help with it. It asks for coordinated effort, not scattered good intentions offered whenever convenient. And it asks for something modern life quietly discourages: expecting nothing back. Bayanihan was never really about the physics of lifting a house off the ground. It was about proving that some burdens simply aren't meant to be carried alone. A roof is heavy. So is rebuilding after a storm. So sometimes is simply moving forward. Filipino communities built an entire cultural instinct around sharing exactly that weight. You don't need bamboo poles or a nipa hut to borrow the lesson underneath it. Just a willingness to notice when someone nearby is carrying something too heavy alone, and the readiness to walk over, add your shoulder, and help carry it together.